Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome back to your economics class today. And today the topic is very interesting and one of the very important from the examination point of view. Well, everything is important there, we can't miss anything. So the topic is trade union. The word is very much explanatory. The trade is something about exchange, and union means something that we combine together. Like union is strength. So all together. So it means somebody who unites themselves for the sake of some trade. Now it can be in respect of anything you can say. But from our syllabus point of view, we are going to be concerned more with the trade unions about workers, the workers' union particularly. Well, there are two types eventually. The trade unions could be divided like there are employers and it could be of employees. Now, who are the employers and who are the employees with EES? And this is the one with ERS, employers. The one who is the owner or entrepreneur of the business. And these are the workers. And eventually, we are going to focus more on the workers' union. Now, when we talk about the employees association or trade unions, what are the examples before us? That somebody must be representing a group of people. Like we in our city have many associations. You must have heard about like the hosieries or gloves manufacturing associations. So it means that all the owner of various factories, firms in Sialkot, who are eventually producing gloves or hosiery or anything like that. So they are considered to be employers' trade union. The word which we are usually use in our common language is association. Another word which we use for the union is association. Now, association means something like partnership. And the partnership means that you are joining together and pool your energies, your money, your services, your efforts, etc., to provide services for the people. So association is something regarding to that. So employers association is something which is related to the owners or the manufacturers or the entrepreneur, etc. And we do find them in our city, and I have given you an example as well. But that's not our part of discussion. Our main part of discussion is about the employees and the workers' trade union. Now, it's part of the labor, of course, so that's why we are going to extend our topic from the workers' side. The trade unions, what do we mean by them? We have already learned that it's all about that how various workers of various professions, occupations, or jobs, they are joined together to form an organization who could represent their rights, their demands, and that is considered to be their purpose of their union. For example, if we just take example from the students' point of view, let's say if somebody wants to their demands, so somebody from them represents a group, and you usually write an application and send forth by one or two representatives. At that time, you're forming a union, a student union. So officially or legally, when you are forming on particular way, and you form as, as an organization, then this is going to be known as a trade union or trade association. So let's start. What are the contents for today? So in the session, today's session, we're going to set some objectives. The very first objective is what are the different types of trade unions and what are the roles and responsibility of the trade union. We are also going to find something about what is we mean about collective bargain. And after this, we are also going to find out what is the base for asking a higher wage or a wage claim. Why would you like to have a higher wages? Or why would you like to have some other things which are required by the labor itself? And last but not the least is going to be that what is the strength of or strength of trade unions, and by this content we mean that what are the various reasons through which we could know that how they gain more strength. The trade unions, how do they get their more strength in terms of making a base of wage claims or some other of their demands. So how strong they are, this is going to be the last content in our discussion. So let's begin with the types of various trade unions. So we have 4 various types. Out of that, we can list on the top the crafts union. Number 2 is industrial unions. General unions and white collar unions. These are the 4 more important or popular types of unions which we can see in an economy. So start talking about the crafts union. When we talk about the craft unions, they are the unions of those workers which have a particular skill with them. A particular skill. Now, skill is something related to which we don't need qualification, but they have some skill which others don't have. For example, like a plumber, for example, like a weaver, for example, like a carpenters. These are the examples which actually represents craftsmen's union. If they are joining together and form an organization, or if they form a trade union, they are going to be known as craftsmen union. And the craft is actually showing a skill of somebody. So anybody which has a particular skill, like which we have posted, like a plumber, electricians, you can say, or a carpenters, if they form or join themselves into a union to represent something of their demand, maybe the wage claim, maybe the working condition, or maybe some other, which we are going to highlight in the next content, that is role and responsibility, then they are going to be known as the craftsmen union. The other one is industrial unions. Now, everybody is familiar with the word industry. Now, industry in economics is about anyone who belong to a particular stage of, or in other words, you can say all the firms who are producing same types of goods, they are known as one industry. Like in Sialkot, if there are many people involved in producing leather, anything related to produce leather, even the one who is providing the raw material, even somebody's tanning it, even somebody's stitching it, even somebody's providing some accessories to it, like buttons and zips and stitches. They are all part of various firms, but together they are one industry. So industry is something which relates to one particular skill or specialization, and anybody related to that is going to be known as one particular industry, like a leather industry or maybe a surgical industry. They're all one in economics, of course. So when we talk about this, the industry is about when a particular industry, workers of particular industry, when they join together and make a union, is known as a and industrial unions. For example, we can take example of a steel mill. A steel mill, they can, all the workers working over there can be considered in industrial union, or anybody who is related to the production of steel. If they join together, they're going to be considered as an industrial union. General union. Now the general union is about which offers range of skills. Range of skills. Like anybody which is related to an industry, but they have range of skills, then they can be considered in the general unions. Like you can consider like transportation. Now, anybody related to the transportation, either it's like the trucks who are big lorries, which are carrying passengers, or maybe they are carrying any cargo stuff, they are all considered in the general unions. Because they are not having a particular industry, or maybe they might be part of that, but they usually fall in the general unions since they have a range of skills over here. And craft unions, it's other than that, definitely. And the last which we have in our list is the white collar union. Now, white collar union is eventually about all those workers which have some particular, or they belong to a particular profession. Now, it can include maybe doctors, it can include teachers, or let's say the pilots. They all belong to the white collar trade unions. So these are some of the types which I have brought to you right now. So after learning about the types of all the trade unions, we will now move to the responsibilities and roles of trade union. Here we go with the types, and now moving to the roles and responsibility. What are the responsibilities of the trade unions? There are not many things which a union representative have to do, and they have many demands, a list of demand that they could bring before their employers or the one who is their benefactors. Now, the top of this is the wage. If they think that the wages are not to that level, then definitely they can ask for higher wages. And how they would do that? They can do it through a collective bargain. Now, what is collective bargain? Let's leave this part until we just finish with the role and responsibility. So, claiming of the higher wages is one of the top most priority demand of any trade union. Along with this, they can also ask for hours of working. That is also very important. Maybe an employer sees that the working hours are too much. An employer is hiring workers with immense number of working hours. Let's say they are employing workers, they are forcing workers to work for like 10, 12 hours, which is humanly not encouraged by many organizations in the world, because work is not all that a person is made. They have some leisure to enjoy, they have some other things to do in their life. So what is the recommended time? Usually it's 8 hours, but somebody is exceeding that, even maybe due to the more demand of their production, but they cannot force. So the trade unions can negotiate and they can push their employers that they should strictly monitor that how they have to manage their production techniques, and they should not allow their workers to work more than that legal time. Now, third, they can also force their employers on the working condition of their workers. Working condition. Maybe they are working in a place which is so much damp and it has no ventilation in their working atmosphere. Maybe it's too unhygienic. So for that reason, the trade unions can come forward and they can ask for such certain arrangements. And this is how they can enhance and achieve the better working condition for their members. So this is yet another function or role of trade unions which they can follow on. Another very important is job security, although it's not possible, but as a pressure group or as a representative of the group, they can always see that there is no unfair dismissal of the workers. And sometimes the owner of the firm, they may dismiss or fire or make undue redundancies for their workers. So that is something which is again very not good culture or precedent for any firms. So the trade unions can also represent such things that they could safeguard or they could stand for the job security of their workers. Okay. Moreover, let's say if the workers are working so hard, but they are not rewarded with their due. So trade unions can raise such issues in their collective bargainings that some of the workers, or maybe all of them, since they are working so hard and they are doing so, contributing their efforts to raise the standard of production for any firm. So they should also be considering the promotion prospects for such workers. So maybe an owner would not like to consider it or not, it will not take any account of such things, since if they promote them, maybe they ignore, maybe they don't realize the workers may be more motivated if they are given more promotion prospects. If they give more promotions to their workers into various level or ranks, so this can also help them to contribute. So somehow the trade unions can convince their owners that by giving them promotions, definitely they will be more motivated and they will be more contributing. So promotion and can contribute as well in this side. Okay, next in the line is sometimes that they provide information to their workers. Trade unions, what kind of information that they could give? Let's highlight some of them. Let's suppose they can give information on their education or maybe their training scheme. And you know what's the benefit of giving such kind of opportunities to the worker? What will enhance them for? What will make them better off? Yes, by education and training, the demand of labor would increase. And if the demand of labor will increase, don't you think that they will again be more in a position to bargain to claim higher wages? Absolutely right. So the demand of labor, by achieving this target, having a higher demand for labor, trade unions can provide information such as like education and training schemes to its workers, to its members especially. So this is another reason that one of the responsibilities that they can take up, the very effective trade unions could take up these kind of responsibilities. Okay, now let's suppose this is something which they are working. Let's suppose if they are not working and they have certain reason that they could not come, the workers could not come to their work. Does that mean that the trade unions let them go, or maybe still they are very helpful? Yes, they are still. Let's suppose if there are some workers, they are sick, so they can get the sickness pay Like if they are sick at home, they can rest, and the workers or the trade unions can make certain accumulation of funds, and they can enable like paying them, those workers. And this is again boost their morale, and definitely they will be more loyal to their work. They will be more efficient. So sickness pay, even if they are unemployed due to the recession. So sometimes unemployment pay, the association of trade unions can make their represent and pressurize governments and the employers that when there is unemployment, the workers has been like contributing, and now at the time, at the difficult time, they should be paid in their unemployment time. So that can be again. And sometimes we are missing one thing, that is strike pay. Sometimes when the trade unions members or trade union representatives, if they feel that their demands are not met, the employer is not settling with their demand, then they can go with the last step, a very last step, which is known as the strike pay. Now, the strike pay is something when the workers are going for the strike, then this can, association can have certain reserves fund out of which they can pay them. So they shouldn't be having a fear, and they can go over the strike and they can effectively get their demands or their proposals to be fulfilled by the owners. All right. So the last on the list can be that the trade unions can pressurize governments. If the trade unions are on a very large scale, they have a large number, then definitely we can consider that the government can be pressurized to raise the wages. And for that, the government, every government in the country has a wage act, a labor law, under which a wage can be set above the market equilibrium. And that is known as the minimum national minimum wage rate. Now, this national minimum wage rate is eventually set by the governments. When the government sets it, they always promise that they will set it above the market equilibrium, because maybe the market is setting with the demand and supply a very low wage rate, but the trade unions can pressurize the governments and they can raise the wages above the equilibrium. So these are some of the responsibilities which we have highlighted, and these can be considered as the role and responsibility of all the workers. Our next content is collective bargain. Collective. Now, the collective bargain is something that you are trading off. Now, among whom this trading is happening or this bargain is happening? It's definitely the collective bargain is between the representative of the union, trade union, versus the employer or the owner of the business. Now, representatives can be individual, or it can be some group of some representatives, maybe 3 or 4. So together they are settling down that on what are their desires and what are their demands out of their roles and responsibility which we have discussed. So wherever they find that the workers should be given certain benefits, they deserve certain things, that definitely through the collective bargain, they can settle their these type of demands. So what happens if the bargain or this collective bargain is successful? Yes, if it's successful, it's very beneficial. But let's say if it is not successful, what is the next thing the trade union will do? They will go and take certain measures and steps which will definitely they will take up to influence the employer. And that is known as the industrial action. The industrial action. Now, this industrial action is something that they can go certain reasons. They can restrict the supply of the labor, they can restrict the work, and the last most industrial action, which is more popular, is strike. They will hold up a strike, a protest, that they will not work for the organization, and they will stop and they won't let others to work. So industrial action is the consequence when the collective bargain is not successful. All right. Now, the next in our line is base for wage claim. What are the reasons through which we can claim for higher wages or any of our demands? Base for the wage claim, the reasons that why the wage claim can be made. Why do you think the trade union should be getting active? That now this is the time when we should go and have a collective bargain with the owner or businessman or the entrepreneur of the business. So number one in the list is when you feel that the workers are showing a huge productivity. If they are becoming more productive for their businesses, then that is the time they can go and have a collective bargain with the owner, asking them, since the worker is more productive, and with these number of workers, they are producing more efficiently for you. So they have a right to have certain benefits, maybe like health and safety, maybe some promotions, maybe some leisure or recreational hours, or maybe a rise in the pay scale, etc. So certain benefits could be claimed. Number two, if you think that the firm is earning a higher profits, if in any time of the economic activity, if the profits are rising, the trade unions are very well aware. If they could give the information to the worker, they could keep their eyes on the company's performance. And they could figure this out. If the profit is so high, that means that that profit is definitely the contribution of the hard work and the productivity of the workers. So they should also be compensated. And the one way is that they could ask for such bonuses. Let's say if there is no a rise in the wage or in the pay scale, but at least a bonus, which is a form of a reward. If the firm or the labor has made a company or an organization to earn a higher profits. So a firm's profit can be one base through which you can ask for a higher wage claim or otherwise. Other is comparability. The comparability is something that in some profession or in some industry, some workers are earning high, but some are who are equally participating. They are giving their equal best but they are paid less than those particular people. If I just put an example like doctors versus nurses. Now, this is a very good example before us. You can see that both of them, they are equally contributing in providing the services. So if the doctors are paid high, a union of nurses can definitely come and ask for a higher claim. Why? Because they can compare them with the doctors in such a way that they are also equally giving the health facility or health services and care which a doctor is giving. So let's suppose you can well imagine if the nurses are not there, how the doctors will be alone and how they can best give them. It's not possible. So the paramedic staff or the nurses are like comparatively giving almost the same care as the doctor is. So they can also ask for a higher wage claim. Last number on this list for the base of the wage claim is inflation. In the books, you can find the word is cost of living. Suppose if the cost of living is increasing, like inflation in Pakistan is rising currently, so the unions can come around and ask their employers that they should be paid more since they cannot be able to have or bear the cost of living. The cost of living is increasing. They cannot like buy all those goods which they could buy previously since the prices are hiking. So for that reason, they need to be paid more or perhaps as per the inflation rate, which is increasing. So they have this one, another base for the wage claim. Okay, students, now we have almost done the 4 contents today. And if I just recall the types, we are not going to finish this one today since we are like not having that sufficient time. So we are going to put it for tomorrow's lesson and followed by an activity. So summing up today's lesson is like we have discussed about the trade unions. They are also known as the associations, trade associations. We learned about the types. We have found list out some of the roles and responsibility. We have found something about the collective bargaining, how they do, what is the format for that. And if they are failed, that what industrial action they could take. And the last but not the least, what are the base for the wage claim. Tomorrow, we will just highlight this remaining part with some of the remaining contents of this topic, and we'll be winding up the trade union. So you have a good time over there. So I'll be waiting for your questions if you have right now. So see you after like 5 minutes.